My esteemed brother and sister judges, Shri Rakesh Chaudhary, President, Awadh Bar Association; Shri M.M. Pandey, Additional Advocate General, Uttar Pradesh; Shri Suryaman Singh Raikwar, Learned Senior Panel Counsel, Government of India; distinguished senior guests, distinguished senior advocates, learned state law officers, learned members of the bar, officers and members of the registry, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have gathered here to welcome Brother Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Justice Brij Singh, and Justice Shree Prakash Singh. Before addressing the full court welcome reference, I would like to say that all the three brother judges are not new to you, but new to you as judges. Each of them possesses a pleasant disposition and are self-made successful personalities in their respective fields. They have earned laurels for their parents, families, friends, and relatives. All the three judges will be an asset to this court and would be imparting their judicial and administrative function to best of their abilities. As much as I know, all of them are extremely simple, down to earth, and have unassuming persona, but at the same time, very thorough and knowledgeable in the field of law. All the three brother judges are from the bar and had lucrative and flourishing practice. Coming to this side of the judiciary has been a sacrifice to them, although it may not compensate them in monetary terms, commensurate to what they were earning as lawyer, but will give them an opportunity to serve the society and the cause of justice. They took oath as additional judges of this court on 13th October 2021. Shri Subhash Vidyarthi was born on 30th April 1970. He hails from advocate's family. As his father, late Shri Sushil Kumar Vidyarthi, and grandfather Shri Raj Narayan Srivastava are advocates. Brother Vidyarthi did his BSc in the year 1989 and accomplished his LLB in the year 1993 from Lucknow University. After getting enrolled as an advocate, with the Bar Council of Uttar Pradesh on 19th February 1993, he joined the chamber of Shree KB Sinha, senior advocate. His practice at bar mainly revolves around civil side. Apart from this, he was also elected as Joint Secretary of the Allahabad Bar Association in the year 2005 and as Vice President in the year 2010. He was a best mediator also. Shri Vidyarthi Singh was born on 7th of August 1970 and graduated in law from Lucknow University in the year 1995. He enrolled as an advocate on 7th of April 1996. He focused his practice mainly in civil services, constitutional, revenue, criminal, and miscellaneous matters. He served as a senior panel lawyer for Union of India at Lucknow and worked as standing counsel for UP Police Awas Vikas Nigam Limited at Lucknow from 2006 till his elevation. Moreover, he was a senior panel counsel for Indian Railways at Lucknow and worked as panel lawyer for Competition Commission of India and Lucknow University. He also served as standing counsel in Mandaliya Vikas Nigam Limited and Railway Employees Consumer Cooperative Society, Gonda. Justice Shree Prakash Singh was born on 8th of February 1974. He graduated in law from Lucknow University in the year 1996 and also did his LLM from the said university. Thereafter, he enrolled as an advocate on 26th March 1997. He mostly practiced in civil service, constitutional educational matters, and miscellaneous matters at High Court, Lucknow. He worked as Chief Standing Counsel 1 of this court at Lucknow from 2017 till his elevation. He was also a standing counsel for Union of India, Central Council for Indian Medicine, Department of Ayush, Government of India, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, New Delhi, UP State Food and Essential Commodities Corporation Limited, Lucknow, and UP State Agro Industrial Corporation Limited, Lucknow, Kaushal Vikas Mission, UP State Vocational Training Council, Aliganj, Lucknow, and UCO Bank. Moreover, he was also standing counsel for Madhyanchal, Paschimachal, and Dakshinachal Vidyut Vitran Nigam Limited. He was also a state law officer, brief holder at High Court, Lucknow, for Government of Uttar Pradesh from 2000 to 2002. Apart from this, he was a legal advisor for UP Small Industries Corporation Limited, Kanpur, and World Wild Fund of Nature, UP chapter. Thus, from the above, it is appreciated that all the three brothers have vast experience in the field of law and earned a lot of reputation at Lucknow. In this perspective, their joining really augmented the values of this institution. Before parting, I would like to say that I, on behalf of my brother and sister judges at Lucknow, welcome Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Brother Brij Singh, Brother Shri Prakash Singh, and wish them a successful career ahead.
Lord, the Honorable Senior Judge, other Honorable Judges sitting on that, Mr. Madan Mohan Pandey, Additional Advocate General, Mr. Rahman, Standing Counsel from Government of India, members of our bar, officers of the rest, and the family members of newly elected Honorable Judges. My Lord, God has given us an opportunity to welcome the most beautiful flowers of our bar in the bucket of the bench, which is really a proud moment for all of us. I, as President of our bar, congratulate to Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh, and Honorable Mr. Justice Shri Prakash Singh on behalf of our bar and on my own behalf on the elevation the lordships as a honorable judge of this honorable court, and welcome them all on their first sitting at Lucknow High Court. Since Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh, and Honorable Mr. Justice Shri Prakash Singh, all were the active practitioner of this honorable court and have been the members of the Awadh Bar, and therefore, from my personal knowledge and experience, I can say that they were not the simple lawyer, but were legal architect. As ideally described by Sir Walter Scott, a lawyer having the knowledge of history and literature along with the law can be said an architect. Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi was born on 30th April 1970 in the family of Shree Srivastava advocate. His father, late Sushil Kumar Vidyarthi, was also a famous lawyer, having vast experience and practice in civil law. An able father was succeeded by an able son. After completing his law from the University of Lucknow, his lordship was enrolled as an advocate on 19 Feb 1993. His lordship started his practice with late Sri K.V. Sinha, senior advocate, was a legend of law and will definitely need a complete chapter whenever the history of our bar is will be compiled. Soon after starting his lordship, by virtue of his legal knowledge, established himself as a prominent lawyer. His lordship mainly practiced civil and constitutional side. However, the appreciation expressed by the bar towards his lordship while sitting in the criminal side leaves no doubt that his lordship's knowledge to criminal law and its principle is second to none. His lordship has been a lawyer who was not only legally sound, but also had his presence to hearts of the member of bar. His lordship has been the joint secretary of our bar association and again became the vice president in the year 2010. His lordship also acted as an able mediator. His lordship Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh was born on 7/8/1970 and after completing his law from University of Lucknow in the year 1995, his lordship was enrolled as an advocate on 7/4/1996. His lordship needs no formal introduction as the presence of his lordship as Senior Counsel of Union of India, Indian Railways, Lucknow University, along with so many other corporations, had already marked a clear picture of his eminence and ability in the minds of the each and every members of the bar as well as the bench. His lordship practiced in civil service, constitutional and revenue matters. In fact, occasional appearance of his lordship in the criminal side were not less than his civil expertise. Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh, as a lawyer, has been close to the heart of every lawyer, maybe the newly inducted intern or the senior advocate. His lordship was born on 8 Feb 1974 in the family of late Bhagwati Prasad Singh. After graduating in law from University of Lucknow in the year 1996, he was enrolled as an advocate on 26 March 1997. His lordship has been the Standing Counsel for Union of India, Power Corporation, as well as so many other departments and banks. As this list is so long, therefore it is not possible to take all the names in one go. His lordship has been the Chief Standing Counsel first for the state of Uttar Pradesh at Lucknow from 2017 to his elevation. Harold Lusky, in his tribute to Justice Holmes, described the hallmark of a great judge. A great judge must be a great man. He must be a statesman as well as the jurist, thinker, as well as the lawyer. He must have a constant sense of essential power and yet be capable of humility in its exercise. He must be conscious of the community and not of dominant interest. In being superbly himself, he must be superbly selfless. He has to be in great word and yet aloof of it, to observe and examine without seeking to influence. I have no doubt that all three newly elevated members of the bar have all these qualities embedded in them and with the passage of time will turn into the great judges. My Lord, judges write great judgment and with this they are reflected in the history. Thus, in the end, I wish Honorable Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh and Honorable Justice Shree Prakash Singh good luck and hope that they will write the history which will enhance the glory of this High Court. With that, I also promise that we as a lawyer will play our role in this history with our assistance to the best of our capability. I wish them all with great health. I once again welcome your lordships and your lordships sitting at Lucknow High Court. Thank you.
Greetings and warm good morning to respected honorable senior judge of this court and all the judges present on the dais. Shree R.K. Chaudhary, President of our bar, all the senior advocates present in the bar, AAGs, government advocates, and state law officers, members of the bar, staff of the High Court Lucknow bench. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of full court welcome reference in Chief Justice courtroom to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh, and Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh. I take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Justices for becoming part of one of the sincerest, unblemished professions which gives one opportunity to do justice to the aggrieved persons who come for justice. Wishes are also in the order for incumbent honorable justices for becoming part of such a high court which boasts of a rich legacy both intellectually and infrastructure-wise. The Allahabad High Court has a hoary tradition and many famous and eminent jurists have adorned its bench. Allahabad High Court and its Lucknow bench have always been informed pride of giving landmark judgments to be of the. We can refer Rajanayan's case, the Triple Talaq case, Ram Janmabhoomi case, and other cases, which in itself speaks of the high intellectual and practical understanding justices have achieved through their experience and perseverance, making this court one of the most decorated and quoted high courts in the country. A judge in any legal system around the world has a duty to facilitate and impart the justice in accordance with law to the aggrieved parties and is deemed to be a protector of rights of citizenship. Judges in our legal system, in addition to performing these functions, have added responsibility of exercising their judicial discretion to interpret and explain law of the land in accordance with the spirit of the Constitution and the concerned law, which increases the responsibility of our justice and just undertake and execute their fullest might as a common legal system. I can quote one of the quotations of Justice Shagla. Justice Shagla said, in every case, a judge he has to bear in mind the majesty of the law, the contribution that it can make to the betterment of the society, and the protection it can give to the humble and weak who is pitted against the rich and the powerful. Humanity is the most essential element of a judge, and he has to take note of the common man's sense of justice and not merely be a slave of logic or letter of the law. Judiciary is the last resort of an innocent man who is accused of an offense, as also of a person whose rights have been infringed. This is the quotation of the chapter. And history is testimony to the fact that justices of Allahabad High Court have unfailingly and happily been the torch bearers of the justice system. When we talk about high courts in India, I don't have any doubt that the newly elevated judges, Honorable Justice Vidyarthi, Honorable Justice Brij Singh, and Honorable Justice Shree Prakash Singh would leave no stone unturned to add stars with the galaxy of Allahabad High Court. We look forward and hope to be a positive tool in our journey to help the masses. As an lawyer and additional Advocate General of the state, we have seen bench closely for many years now. I have been witnesses to unparalleled camaraderie between bench and the bar, who go beyond their comfort zone to deliver justice to those who come knocking the doors of justice. And it is my firm belief that the honorable justices will also take the culture forward and set an example for generations to come. I again wish and congratulate them all again on behalf of the Office of the Advocate General, State of UP, and myself. Thank you.
Honorable the Senior Judge, Lucknow seat of the High Court of Uttar Pradesh, His Lordship's other companion honorable judges of this court, Shri Rakesh Kumar Chaudhary, President of the Allahabad Bar Association, Shri Madan Mohan Pandey, Additional Advocate General, Uttar Pradesh, learned senior advocates, esteemed members of the bar, members of the registry. I fully associate myself with the feelings and views expressed by my previous speakers. However, I am still tempted to give voice to my own personal feelings on the occasion. Very briefly though. With the memories of colorful Holi still fresh in the mind and the hands both fully stretched forward to welcome the Bharatiya New Year, that is to set in this weekend, and almost on the eve of upcoming Basant Navratri, when we assemble here, I am also reminded of the last Sharad Navratri, when the three from our own were bestowed with divine bliss and their transformation from the bar to the bench was complete. The timings and the sequence tell it all. There cannot be more divine a transformation than this. The diligence, dedication, and dexterity of all three while practicing law as advocates in this temple of justice at Lucknow were richly rewarded. Despite diverse backgrounds, as my previous speakers referred, with which they set out in their careers as advocates, they carved a niche for themselves and reached there where they must. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh, and Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh on my own behalf and also on behalf of the central government advocates on the occasion of their sitting in the Lucknow seat of this High Court. My lords, I have had good opportunity of working with all three honorable judges when they were this side of the divide. And I must say with emphasis that the association has been wholly enriching experience for me in a number of ways. The command of Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi over civil laws, mastery of Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh over rainbow of laws touching almost every nature of work a lawyer possibly could lay his hands on, and the competence and ability of Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh over any branch of law, reflecting in a huge body of work to his credit, has always been easily perceptible to everyone with naked eyes during their era as advocates. Speaking for the central government advocates, I will have to admit that if in Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi, the central government advocates always found a worthy opponent, meticulously prepared with his brief, whenever as an advocate he appeared against the central government on behalf of his private clients. At the same time, we central government advocates also knew with sure satisfaction that with Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh and Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh, then in the panel of the central government advocates with us, the contest would be suitably repelled. The match amongst them was perfect. In that sense, my lords, the elevation of three honorable judges is a loss for their respective clients. However, seeing the larger picture, the institution has benefited hugely and deservedly so. Towards serving such institution, we all are committed, irrespective of the roles the destiny chooses for us. My lords, apart from the qualities which all three honorable judges reflected in their earlier avatar as advocates, since I have rare distinction, and this I modestly claim to have had long one-to-one conversation with each of them individually on a good number of times, my clear impression is that they all have spiritual inclinations in their own unique way. This unique thread is common amongst them. And I also perceived with little amusement though, that all the three honorable judges were blissfully ignorant of this quality of theirs. And that perhaps vindicates me also. The sober and positive disinterestedness with which Honorable Mr. Justice Subhash Vidyarthi conducted himself while in practice as advocate is one of the hallmarks of spirituality. The self-assured, pleasant, and unamusing disposition of Honorable Mr. Justice Brij Singh, which has its own charming appeal, surely draws its sustenance from subtle spirituality. In the same vein, my lords, Honorable Mr. Justice Shree Prakash Singh has very well guarded spiritual dimension to his personality, which I could unsurface with some detail recently only. And hence, seeing such personalities adorning the most revered place in the institution, I conclude, my Lord, by saying that in their elevation, we see our real elation. My Lords, my sincere prayers on the occasion, may the divinity maintain the guidance, may the institution grow stronger, may the jurisprudence be richer, may more sensitivity infuse the system, and the system be unshackled from the statistical stalemate. Thank you, my Lords.
My esteemed brother, Senior Judge Honorable Mr. Justice Ramesh Sinha, other esteemed brother and sister judges, President of Allahabad Bar Association Shree Rakesh Kumar Chaudhary, learned Additional Advocate General Shree Madan Mohan Pandey, learned Senior Panel Counsel for the Union of India Shree Suryamani Singh Roykwar, learned Senior Advocates, members of the bar, officers of the registry, ladies and gentlemen. I am proud of having worked on the other side of the bar in this High Court for more than a quarter of a century and having been a member of our Bar Association, which is known for its glorious history and long cherished traditions. Holding a welcome reference is one of such traditions which perhaps is unique to this court. Being in this court, either on that side of the bar or on this side, makes me feel at home. Being welcomed formally in my own home makes me feel a bit awkward, but at the same time, it gives me immense pleasure. The august constitutional office of a judge is a blessing of the Almighty, who has chosen me to bestow upon me the duty to deliver justice. However, the Almighty made several persons mentor my life so as to translate his blessings into this reality, including several honorable judges, both past and present, learned senior advocates, my friends at the bar, and my junior colleagues. It is not possible to name all of them, but while expressing my sincere gratitude to everyone who has crossed my path and has helped me in his or her own way in making me what I am today, I take this opportunity to name a few persons who made the most significant influence on my professional life. The first and foremost amongst them was my father, Shree Sushil Kumar Vidyarthi, who was an advocate and whose style of conducting himself fascinated me since my childhood and attracted me towards the profession of advocacy. Since my childhood, my elder brother Shree Sunil Kumar Vidyarthi always motivated me to be sincere in my studies and to put in the best in whatever I do. And he continues to keep a vigil on my progress like a guardian. However, my father was against my idea of joining the profession, and after I got my bachelor's degree in science, he made all possible efforts to prevent me from joining LLB, and he pushed me into pursuing MSc in physics. This was the only time in my life when I felt extremely helpless, seeing my dream profession drifting away from me. While I was pursuing MSc with a feeling of helplessness, one fine day my friend, philosopher and guide, and my cousin, Mr. Subodh Kumar, said to me that I could not spend my entire life pursuing a profession which was not liked by me. And if I remained unhappy with the profession in which I was pushed, ultimately my father would also be unhappy. The last reason given by him gave me the courage to take a decision of my own to leave MSc and to join LLB. But for his timely advice, I would not have been here today addressing you all. Perhaps this was the only decision taken by me in my life, which was against the wishes of my father. And for several years, he was very annoyed with my decision. However, after I had put in about 5 years into the profession, my father had critically watched me working happily and content with the meager earnings of a junior advocate. He expressed his satisfaction and happiness about me having joined the profession. My professional guru, Shri K.B. Sinha, senior advocate, was kind enough to accept me as a junior associate in his chamber. He was a hard taskmaster, and he took pains to instill in me the importance of discipline and hard work in the profession. Making a perfect balance in life is a difficult task. And I have no doubt that by putting in more to achieve satisfaction in my professional life, I have made my wife Shikha and sons Shashwat and Shantanu lose a major portion of their due share of my time. They not only tolerated it without any complaints, rather they made up the deficiency by putting in more efforts and time towards their family affairs and by adjusting their needs and wishes according to mine. Saying thank you would belittle their sacrifice. To my young friends at the bar, I would say that perseverance is the key to success. Whenever you accept a brief, take it as an opportunity to improve yourself. And while preparing it, you should put your head, heart, and soul into it. However, while doing your professional duty, remember the teachings of Lord Krishna. Karmanya vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachal. Your duty is to prepare the case and present it before the court to the best of your ability. And you should not be found lacking in it. However, having performed your duty to your satisfaction, you should always be satisfied, irrespective of the outcome of the case. Once the court passes an order in favor of whichever of the litigating parties, disassociate yourself and move on to do the same with the next matter. I join you all in welcoming Brother Justice Brij Singh and Brother Justice Shree Prakash Singh and wishing them a very successful tenure as judges of this court. I thank Awadh Bar Association for initiating the process of this welcome reference, and I thank the Honorable Senior Judge and all my esteemed brother and sister judges for attending the reference, and I thank you all for your precious time.
My esteemed brother, Senior Judge Shri Ramesh Sinha, esteemed brother and sister judges, Additional Advocate General Shri M.M. Pandey, State of UP, the President of Awadh Bar Association Shri Rakesh Kumar Chaudhary, Shri Surimani Singh Raikwad, Senior Panel, Council, Union of India, senior advocates, my friends, and members of the registry. I am really delighted to attend this occasion of welcome reference organized by the Awadh Bar Association. I am also grateful for the fact that Awadh Bar Association has been kind enough to organize and create this occasion, which surely is a proud moment for me. In the 2.5 decades spent at this bar, I have made various indelible memories, and at the moment I am nostalgic because whatever I have achieved, it is all because of the fact that I started my career at this great bar. I came to Lucknow from the remote district of Azamgarh and completed my law graduation and higher studies from the Lucknow University. I started my career at the Lucknow High Court with a passion to venture into this profession for the sole reason that I had no intention or inclination towards any other discipline. I will always remain indebted to the bar because even though I was from a non-legal background, I was fortunate enough to have been adopted by this bar and the bench with open arms. I also consider myself to be fortunate since I have seen the old school of this profession. When I initially started my practicing, I witnessed some great seniors like Babu Umesh Chandra, P.N. Mathur, K.B. Sinha, Kual Shanti Prakash, Lakshmi Prasad Acharya, and many other great seniors for whom I have utmost respect and regards. I tried to imbibe the professional ethics from these great legal giants, and it is my long, forlorn desire that the old school is revived so that we shall have again witnessed the exalted glory of the Awadh Bar Association. I especially request the junior members of the bar to get acquainted with the great history of this extremely rich bar. And I'm sure that if they will fathom the depths of this bar's history, they will come to know about the sheer number of legal stalwarts this bar has produced. Hopefully, if the upcoming generation of the young lawyers appreciate this past of ours, they will certainly adopt a righteous path to move forward in their future life. I was extremely privileged to assist Babu Umesh Chandra in several cases And I must say that I found him to be a great human being, a great philosopher, an exceptional guide, and a formidable lawyer. The characteristics of Babu Umesh Chandra are worth to be imitated by the lawyers of this court. The gentle qualities of Babu Umesh Chandra will always remain etched in my memory. The fight between good and evil is an ever-going quest since the beginning of human existence. It will be my best effort to impart justice to the society without any sense of fear or favor. I feel that if I can provide justice to the downtrodden and the lowest rungs of the society, that would be personally be the best source of happiness for me. This great bar has produced many legal servants like A.P. Singh, Wazir Hassan, Jagat Narayan Mulla, Arif Bahadur, Gokarnath Mishra, Anand Narayan Mulla, Babu Harigobind Dayal, Mahavir Prasad Srivastava, and Lakshmi Prasad Acharya. I believe that young lawyers of this bar can surely draw the inspiration from the illustrious personalities and their lofty characteristics. I request the young lawyers to organize some sort of seminars and meetings so as to engage in a profound study on these stalwarts, and I'm sure that such activities will definitely further raise the quality of the bar. I feel that judiciary has a special role to play in the task of achieving socio-economic goals enshrined in the Constitution. While maintaining their aloofness and independence, the judges have to be aware of the social changes in the task of achieving socio-economic justice for the people. Socrates said that 4 things improve a great judge. Number 1, to hear courteously. Number 2, to answer wisely. Number 3, to consider soberly. And number 4, to decide impartially. I can never forget these sweet memories I have made while practicing at the Allahabad Bar Association, though I have embarked on this new journey as a judge. But whatever I have achieved is because of the noble teachings and blessings of my seniors, whose names I have already mentioned. I am also extremely thankful to my senior Shree Raghavendra Singh, the Advocate General, who taught me the golden gospels and lessons to become a good and successful lawyer. I am thankful to my colleagues with whom I practiced and jostled shoulders at this very bar. Their support has been immense in shaping me as a person. I am grateful to my wife, Benita, who has supported me in all the trials, tribulations, and odds. I would like to conclude my sharing by sharing a very moving excerpt from one of the books written by the eminent Fali Nariman. I quote, "In this country of ours, the judiciary is like the salt of earth. My wish for the 3rd millennium is that if it pleases God, there be no occasion when it is said that the salt has lost its savor. Because as the Bible warns us, if the salt ever loses its savor, then wherewith shall it be salted?" Even though currently I'm here at the bench, but my heart and soul is still mortgaged to the bar. Thank you.
My esteemed brother, the senior judge, my other esteemed brother and sister judges sharing the dais, Sri S.M. Singh Raikwa representing the Union of India, and Additional Advocate General of Uttar Pradesh, Sri Madan Mohan Pandey, President Allahabad Bar Association, Sri Rakesh Chaudhary, other office bearer of Allahabad Bar Association, distinguished senior advocates, and learned members of the glorious Allahabad Bar Association, members of the registry and staffs. I feel immense pleasure on this occasion, organized today in the presence of members of the Allahabad Bar Association in such a huge number. I felt the joy and pleasure as soon I entered into this campus after first time being elevated as a judge. I recollect the words of Samuel Richardson, an English novelist, I quote, "Where words are restrained, the eyes often talks a great deal," unquote. Now I take the opportunity to share my journey, starting with the small village of district Ambedkar Nagar up to this milestone. My schooling was completed in district Ambedkar Nagar, and thereafter I did my graduation from TDPG College, Jaunpur. Later on, I pursued Bachelor of Laws and Master of Laws from Lucknow University and started practice in the year 1997 before this court. When I joined the legal profession, it was certainly a challenge to become and be established as a lawyer, but I always felt that whenever a task was before me, it has always shown a path to move a step ahead. There is a saying that when going gets tough, tough gets going, unquote. I have seen very close to the poor person, farmers and deprived section of the Indian society who even do not know their valuable rights enshrined in the Constitution of India. Now I have been given a higher responsibility, in furtherance to which I shall make all endeavor to impart justice which may reach up to the last person of the society. I trust that people are born equal. Their creator invests them with some inherent, indivisible, inalienable, non-negotiable, and non-derogable natural and basic rights, which has to be honored. During journey from advocate to judge, I felt that the integrity and hard labor is the key to achieve any destination. I believe that my elevation as a judge from the bar may energize the young members of the bar to work hard and look forward for their better future. Being elevated as a judge of High Court is blessings of Almighty God, revered saints, my parents, and certainly the well wishes of the people walk along with me. My grandfather, late Bhagwati Prasad Singh, who had adopted me as a son, lived his entire life like a saint. My father, Sri Suresh Narayan Singh, is also having same virtue, which is imbibed in him genetically. My father is my mentor, teacher, and source of my inspiration, so as to my mother, Srimati Simla Singh, who is continuously showering her love and affection upon me. Now at this occasion, I express my sincere gratitude to learned senior advocate Sri Sasi Prakash Singh for all his care and past showing action whenever it was required. I also express my regards to Sri Rajiv Mishra Advocate, who has made all efforts to inspire me for doing the job with utmost honesty and integrity. Further, I express sincere thanks to all those seniors, friends, and well-wishers who have entrusted faith in my ability and capability. I will be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge the contribution of my wife, Sakuntala Singh, who stood all along with me in the days of his struggle. She lived every day for me and my challenging requirements regarding my profession. My daughter, Shreyansi Singh, and my son, Master Kirti Vardhan Singh, were always the source of my energy, joy, and happiness. Lastly, I pray to Almighty God to give me strength to discharge my duty and to deliver as per the best of ability and capability, as it has been enshrined in Srimad Bhagavad Gita that discharging the allotted duty is the best virtue of the life. I quote, Niyatam kuru karmatum karma jyayo hi karmana sarir yatra pichatena prasiddhed karmana. I would request blessings of you all on this august occasion.